Hi, I'm Catalina Centeno Morales, a student of Philosophy of Law. And for this final evaluation, I choose the topic of torture viewed in a philosophical way. And I made this infographic to explain this topic about torture seen by many philosophers or thinkers in a morally or immorally way. And first of all, we have torture that is defined in part as a deliberate infliction of extreme suffering towards person by many coercive ways like punching, burning the skin, and many other ways to, first of all, and in many times to obtain information from the person who is going through through this physical pain. And according to the Stanford Encyclopedia of Philosophy, the practices of torture presuppose that the torturer has control over the victim's body. Torture is such as the intentional infliction of extreme physical suffering, as I said, on a non-consenting and defenseless person. And viewed in a philosophical way, we had for the first time Aristotle, who said that in the rhetoric, New Rhetoric, explained that a philosophical evaluation of torture, which is that this kind of practice is a kind of evidence which appears trustworthy because a sort of compulsion is attached to it. And this, nevertheless, Aristotle affirms that torture involves extreme physical pain inflicted to a non-consenting and defenseless person. He does not argue that torture is morally wrong, and also he says that um, it's open to debate this practice. And Immanuel Kant, on the other hand, will argue the inherent immorality of torture, regardless of the circumstances or motives that leads to torture a person. And this practice is always wrong because it contradicts the second formulation of humanity and violates the categorical imperative. And and it says that we will all agree that the use of torture should not be a universal moral law and to allow people to torture. And another philosophers and thinkers, and they argue that torture is a morally questionable action that destroys human freedom, prevents the criminal from becoming a better person, and treats humans as means and not as ends. And this guides us towards the next topic I wrote in this infographic, which is end justifies the means, as Machiavelli says. And despite the violence of torture inflicts, can achieve a greater good to help other people for the greatest good, as many people said. For example, obtaining information through the use of coercive methods towards someone to prevent a terrorist attack. In this case, torture will be justified because it allows the authorities to prevent a catastrophe, a greater catastrophe. And obviously, something like that, the end justifies the means. Well, and seeing this in my personal opinion, torture throughout history has been used for many purposes, and sometimes it was only under beliefs or heresy, blasphemy, among other things, that the church considered should be judged through the use of torture to achieve salvation. This, and I wrote this because of the Inquisition that used many ways of torture people to obtain a confession that they were blasphemous or other things that were against the beliefs of the church. And personally, I think that torture to obtain anything is wrong because, as Kant said, these methods make a person lose their humanity, degrading them to a simple object to which they can do anything. And as as the philosophers and thinkers say, that it treats humans as means and not as ends. So this is my personal point of view. For me, torture is immoral, and I'm more inclined to Kant perspective of this topic in a philosophical way of torture. So yeah, that will be basically all, and I have the references down below the infographic. And well, thank you for the attention.